Celtic screams to Wildcats roar, touchdowns, goals, and so much more. Grab a seat and join the ride. Wally, Lou, right by your side.
The views expressed by the hosts are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Department of Defense, the U.S. government, or any of its agencies. The information provided is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. No attorney-client relationship is formed by providing this information, and nothing herein should be relied upon as legal counsel. For legal advice specific to your situation, please consult a qualified attorney. Mr. Lewis, the Mad Hatter, special guest host for episode 29, Wally, Mad Hatter, Pyp'd. And I know chat's already going, and we have some comments on the alternate intro theme. That's the Mad Hatter's music. We had to give you your own intro theme. How are you doing, Mr. Lewis?
Very well, young man. There's nothing that feels more like a VIP than getting a man's own music on day one. I'm sure when Lou Gehrig ran out to first base, he probably got a special walk-up song, and as Mr. Pip took his 2 aspirins and sat on the bench for a bad headache.
Or in this case, a bad knee in the field in freezing southern Georgia temperatures.
Yeah, I do have to say, I feel like the person I'm replacing is having a little bit more difficult time than sitting on the bench playing with the Yankees.
Yeah, and man, I feel bad for all those dog-faced soldiers that are in the field in these unseasonably low temperatures, especially here in Nashville. I mean, it's been single digits, teens. People are without power. So, in all seriousness, from Woody Lou Sports and you, we definitely think about all those people that don't have heat right now. Scary times. But onto lighter things. Mad Hatter. Now you're coming
Yes,
in,
sir.
from the chat, taking the co-pilot seat. It's been a while. You were on Basement Sports Talk as one of the co-hosts. So now you have an opportunity. You really have a vehicle and a seat to voice, your opinions. Sometimes they get lost in the
Mhm.
chat, sometimes ignored by a certain co-host. So
Yeah.
let's start off with yard sales, because that's been something discussed on this show a number of episodes, and your penchant for yard sales.
Yeah, so first of all, let me just tell you the work here, the programming that we have here on Woody Lou Sports and You will blow blow the basement sports out. I feel like we were back on dial-up on compared to what we're dealing with here.
Rearranging the
So
bunny ears.
yeah, I was looking for AOL.com when I logged on. But yeah, it's funny. A little bit of revisionist histories on the yard sales. So admittedly, I may have released some items that were probably valued and had a little sentimental value in wrestlers and stuff like that. But there was, your esteemed co-host seems to forget that there was always a backdoor, what's my cut, dad, into the conversation that gets lost in the sauce. And it typically started out me 90-10, and then somehow we whittled it down to him 75-25. Haven't figured that out. Um, but his negotiating skills were A plus. But yeah, it's funny. The yard sales were something. You looking back on it, you get old like me. Those are some of the best times. But when we were doing them, kind of the worst times. And it was a great time having that. But yeah, we could wheel and deal it. I've seen moo dresses go like hotcakes. I've seen it all. I've seen women fight. It's the crazy the stories we got.
Now, was this a product of having like PCS all the time, like just trying to liquidate a little bit?
Y-
With how did you
You know,
become the king of the yard sale?
well, I think it was more out of a necessity than anything. As a young enlisted man with a and a wife and a kid, it was more seen as money
Mm,
subsidies is kind of what we had to utilize it for, to be quite honest with you. And then
gotcha.
as we got a little bit more into it, it did become the thrill of the sale.
Yeah.
It became what can we get? Can we make a quick $500? We'd have our goals, and uh, God bless my wife. She would stay up all night, and she was big about, she had gone to yard sales growing up, and it was all about the price. Like, I want to see the price.
Yeah.
um, my penchant was the grab bag. I was the king of the grab bag, meaning, like, I would put 4 to 5 items in a Walmart plastic bag and put $1 on there. It was a grab bag. Whatever you got is what
Hmm.
you got.
Now, was it like
uh,
Storage Wars? Could they see what was in the grab bag, or they're just pulling the grab bag?
we would let them see it,
Okay,
but we was very detailed in, like, making sure there were like items. So it might be like 5 T-shirts for $1, something like that.
gotcha.
Yeah, to where it was pretty well known. And then obviously we had a budget for our marketing department, and that consisted of going out on telephone poles with cardboard, and putting up yard sale from 9. It was always the question mark. We never had a closing time.
Till everything's
No closing
sold.
time here. That's correct. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now, does it go the other way? So you would put on the yard sale, the art of the deal, but do you also have a penchant for attending yard sales and negotiating for items, or was always you were selling?
I felt like I was always selling. For some reason, even though everybody wanted to haggle with me on prices, I never really got into that. Just because I guess I knew how that felt. Now, my wife, like I said, and father-in-law, mother-in-law, they were king of the yard sales.
Mm.
To even consist of, you got the weekly paper on, say, Thursday. Now, if you didn't get your yard sale in there, this is before Facebook got crazy with the marketplace and stuff. But they would cut out the ads on yard sales, and they would detail map, consult with their operation sale, and then that's it. Off they went.
I love
But
it.
for me, yeah, but for me, I was more about the organization of the yard
Yeah.
sale to make a little money. So that most of the time it was some type of either something Braxton or I would wanted as far as a game or something like
Mhm.
that to fund that type of activity.
That's fantastic, having that goal. Now, I mean, yeah, you are just the expert of the yard sale. So would you like set it up where it would be like your big like attention grabber items, like your window items, like near like the road,
Correct.
and then you'd orient people through different items, get them deeper into the grab
Yeah.
bag?
So typically, especially in Kentucky, it was a little bit more difficult on the Army bases. Say we're at Fort Campbell, we always led with some type of uniform, because typically the people that ran the
Mm,
surplus military stores were looking for excess uniforms to sell. So that was the get them in the door. Now, once we transitioned out of the Army, we did some yard sales. It was whether it was tools, a lawnmower, piece of furniture. That was the get them in the door. And then, the little thing as they're checking out may be little pensions of grab bags or whatever the case may be. And then, of course, right next to where the money was, you try to have a toy if their kid came
mm,
with them, so they had to grab last minute. So it
that's
it, it had
genius.
it. Yes, it had
I love that.
everything on it. Yeah.
Now, again, we're not a legal podcast, so you did some yard sales on post. Now, did you get the Garrison Commander's permission to host that for-profit enterprise? You don't have to answer
You know,
that.
okay. As my lawyer, maybe if I start talking, you can tell me to cut sling loads. But
Oh, I'm sure the statute of limitations has run on that violation of the
it used to.
UCMJ.
Yeah, I feel like, and probably my wife can correct me on this, but when we first started doing them in the Army, there was no, you know, yard sale week this weekend. It was kind of come as you go if you wanted to do one. As we kept on going, they started having neighborhood yard sales, to
Okay,
where it was you didn't fill out any paperwork. It just knew from this weekend to this weekend the yard sale can be conducted. Post wide yard sale, I guess they would call it, and then
okay.
you'd be good to go.
Almost like a
Yeah.
swap meet.
Correct. I can remember one time at Fort Rucker, we didn't set up, but they actually had a swap meet, post wide yard sale on the parade deck, to
Cool.
where Yeah, people came out there and had their stuff. To me, once again, the cost analysis with gas, delivering stuff, set up, tear down. To me, we'll stay at the house and have our own little thing.
That's awesome. Now, would you say that things like Facebook Marketplace or like Craigslist, I don't know if Craigslist is still used, but did that kill the yard sale?
It definitely took a hit, right? Because people, if they were looking for individual items, could just go to the marketplace, do the search, and that's what they needed. Now, I do feel like you still may have those people that kind of go searching, the thrill of the hunt,
Yeah.
and that's the people that probably and nothing wrong with this at all. I've done it myself, and I know if Miss Patsy's on there, she probably does as well. The going to the Goodwill looking for the little needle in a haystack. Some people still would do that stuff, but by and large, I do say for even for me, once we had the Facebook Marketplace, when you talk about man hours, it was just easier to do to do your high dollar ticket items there.
It changed the game, not
Yeah.
to pay for that labor.
Absolutely. Your marketing department was laid off. You didn't need them anymore. Much like AI will probably do to some people here pretty soon.
Yeah, I know. Probably our podcast will be replaced by
That's right.
AI.
Yeah.
We do have Miss Patsy in the chat, our number one listener from day one, as well as Miss Amy Lewis, and there's a lot of chatter about
Mm,
yard sales, your prowess, and Central to Eastern Kentucky yard sale scene is what is So Braxton, our co-host, he has made it from the chat, so we do have proof of life from
okay.
the training area at Fort Stewart, Georgia. So I'm happy to see that. Um, but no, I'm very happy to hear about your yard sale, your prowess. I feel like I have an idea. I'm just giving away free ideas here. But have you
Mm.
seen the show Bar Rescue with John Tapper?
One of my favorite shows. Still watch it on Paramount
I feel
Plus.
like we could do a
Uh,
spin-off, Chris Lewis, the yard sale rescue, and you would consult on conducting
oh,
a yard sale, and you get in there, shut it down.
Shut it down. There would be some, yeah, and it's all about ambiance. You can't have a lot
Right.
of things going on. You got to go back and restock and refold once you have people, because you have some people that just toss stuff,
Yeah.
right? There's a whole department that we're looking at lost theft. What's those departments called where they have
Loss protection.
loss protection? We got a loss protection group in there, making sure no little kids are walking away with 25-cent
Right.
um,
Right.
cars and stuff like that. Because Braxton sold a lot of them too, and those things can go. Them Hot Wheels, we can't have any sticky hands on the Hot Wheels.
No.
So we had loss protection out restocking. Mind you, that was probably all in the same person, but we still make sure we took care of all that stuff.
Well, we got a good question from Braxton.
Okay.
How early
Mm.
before game day, sale day, do you have yard maintenance complete?
So you're looking at least 2 days minimum for maintenance, because what you don't want to have happen, particularly depending if you have to lay out on your yard, is clippings.
Yep.
We utilize the tarp very effectively to make sure things were laid out. Now the goal was to have things actually hanging up. We
Hmm.
got really really adept at stringing lines from one place to another so that people can go look at the shirts, etc. Because you don't want, the 65-year-old woman bending
Yeah.
down on her
Right.
hands and
Right.
knees on the. I
This
will
is
tell you though,
brilliant.
yes, at Fort Campbell at the Moo When I tell you I've never seen Moo go like this, I've seen two women in their 60s fight over pink and white moo that they dug out of a hefty trash bag. And that's probably one of our biggest sellers. It
Mover.
actually allowed us to shut down earlier than anticipated with the moo.
That's good. You could get to the GameStop before it closed to buy that new game because of the moo.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We would work 8 to 10 hours, make $65 to pay for a $55 used game. Yeah,
And I bet it was so much better playing those games after a day of slinging merch at the yard
absolutely.
sale.
Yeah, you felt accomplished, Miss Amy's her whole thing was substance, right? Like
Yep.
now she helped me with setup, pricing as I stated. She was good on the money box to make sure, we had proper change, etc. But her big thing was making sure that the different department heads were fed and watered with some type of muffin. We've had French toast. We've had
Ooh,
all the things. Obviously, you can't eat in front
nope.
of the customers, as that distracts them from the main purpose of buying. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. So we talked about the wrestlers a little bit. Now let's get into your Drew Bledsoe. Was it a sweat? No, it was just a Patriot sweatshirt. It wasn't a
Mm,
Drew Bledsoe specific. So
correct.
was that slung as merch?
So okay. Me and my wife had this talk today, and I'm just going to be completely transparent. There is a 50-50 chance that that New England Patriot sweatshirt is in our current storage building in Charleston, South Carolina.
Gotcha.
Um, I do know that we had a conversation, and I do think that was one of those times where we're doing a closet clean out from a PCS or something like that, that it got to a point where it I changed teams, much like your co-host changed teams, from
Right.
day to day. I had changed teams, and it seemed like the right time to get rid of the sweatshirt. And then
Yeah.
never felt so worse in my life today when Miss Amy was able to literally give me store location, road, how she bought the sweatshirt as a young lady, all the things she did to save the money to buy the sweatshirt is my first gift. To me now, not be able to tell you right or wrong if I've even got the sweatshirt anymore or it's still sitting in a storage building. But yes,
That's
very
I
important.
yeah.
Yeah, very important sweatshirt back in the day. But yeah, the accountability has lost a little bit.
That's okay. Hopefully, it is in that storage unit. You should go check it before Super Bowl Sunday next week, and we'll get to the Patriots and
Yeah.
Super Bowl 60 later on the show. But were you a Bledsoe? I know he played for the Cowboys for a minute. Were you a
Was
Drew
it was
Bledsoe
it
fan?
Was a big Bledsoe fan. I liked he was to me the first time I remember just like a big white pocket passer,
Yeah.
6'5", 6'6", you could sit back and just sling it.
Yep.
Obviously, you had your Marinos and stuff like that back in the day, but I just thought he was a more athletic version of that. And to be honest with you, I really liked the helmet logo of the old guy, snapping the ball. That was the sweatshirt I had. So yeah, big
At
Bledsoe
Patriot.
fan.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
big Bledsoe fan.
So yeah, like I said, we'll get into more specifics and analysis of Super Bowl 60. But I'm happy that you talked about like first sports memory, and that's
Mm,
going to bring me to our first topic, which is the Winter Olympics that
mhm.
opens this Friday in Milan Cortina in northern Italy, the 25th Winter Olympiad, and for most people, like the Summer Olympics, that's the belle of the ball, and then the Winter Olympics is like kind of like a bit of an afterthought. But for me, I remember the 1998 Winter Olympics in Nagano, Japan, and
Mm,
that was the first like first Olympics that as a viewer, I was really into like understood sports. I was 10 years old at the time. I had some memory of like Barcelona and in 96 in Atlanta, but didn't really watch much of it. Also in the summer, I mean, those days, like we weren't really sitting around watching TV. We were out the beach or like doing something. So the Winter Olympics is very special to me when it
mhm.
comes to the Olympics, and I think all the events are so much fun. Do you have any like Winter Olympic like moments, memories?
None that I know we used to watch, the Olympics. I can't sit here and tell you, specific in detail like you have. I can tell you, I've especially like the curling.
Yeah,
Keeps me enamored. That's probably my overall favorite thing. The curling and the luge. Like I can sit there and watch those people go forever. But no, sadly, not been a big Winter Olympics, and by and large, an Olympics fan.
yeah,
Just because it's, like for example, they start I think this Wednesday or Thursday, right? And that is before the have the official events. Like it's so much to keep up with. So unable. based off what I was doing to keep up with the Winter Olympics as a mainstay sport,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I do know, like, for most people, like, yeah, this the Summer Olympics, that's the favorite.
Mm,
The swimming, the track, um, and that's just like the classic, like what people think
right,
of. But I do think Winter Olympics, as far as like moments go, there's a great new documentary out on Netflix on the 1980 Olympic hockey team, and
right,
just going through like the that team and her a lot of focus on Herb Brooks and their lead up the selection in 79, the 60 to 70 exhibition games that they played leading up to Lake
right.
Placid. Phenomenal documentary that I recommend to anyone, as well as the Disney movie Miracle about that 1980 Olympic hockey team. And it probably won't ever be replicated again, I think, as far as like the amateurism, and then the backdrop of the Cold War, with the Soviet Union, the US, and then like the Soviets, being a professional team, in all but name, and that upset and what it did for the country. I mean, I wasn't even, a thought in my
Right.
parents' mind in
I was a
1980,
young
but
five. I was a young 5-year-old, young Mad Hatter at that point.
right. But it was really like interesting in the documentary, like, really the backdrop in of what was going on in the country in 1979 and the Iran hostage crisis and the oil prices and unemployment, um and what it did for the country. And I think that the Winter Olympics are coming at a good time. And again, not a political podcast, not
Mhm.
going to get into what's going on, but hopefully with the Olympics and the World Cup coming up, something that we can all get behind. Hopefully, something special.
Yeah, I think, going back to your amateurism, I think that's one of the biggest keys. Even, when we finally got the dream team, right? Like that was us finally saying we're tired of getting everybody catching up with us as a Olympic sport in basketball. Like we
Hmm.
we feel like, when the Europeans started really catching up. So I think that's the key. And you're right, that time, with the Cold War, hot Iran, all the things, and that's why I know that Matt Jones has been mentioned on this airwaves before, especially by our guest hosts. And the one of the things they talked about him is stick to sports, and I think that's the reason, because people, regardless of political affiliation or anything like that, that is something they can all rally behind.
Yeah.
We're all fans of some type of sport, and when you see a good news story, a heart wrenching or heart, pulls at your heartstrings. People get behind that regardless, and that kind of relieves some of that what's going on in their daily lives. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love Olympic hockey.
Hmm.
Canada, the pros are back. I'm excited about that. NHL players are back in the
Hmm.
Olympics, so they'll have their winter break. Canada is the favorite. US though, I believe they're the second ranked team in the world, and it'd be real fun if they could make a run and pull off, not quite the upset against the Soviets in the 1980s, but an upset of our neighbor to the north.
Yeah, and I think we've really kind of shrunk the gap there,
Hmm.
as far as the talent gap. I think you take this back 10, 12 years ago, it's not even a conversation, as far as
Right.
the Canadians versus Americans. But and how can we not also, as me as the elder statesman, at least in this episode, like Lindsey Vaughn coming back at
Yep.
41? You know what I'm saying? That's a heck of a story. And then just quick research. Here's what amazes me about the Winter Olympics. I was looking. There's numerous. I think 5 African countries, 2 or 3 Caribbean countries in the Winter Olympics, which I can't figure out. Um, so that's kind of amazing too. But yeah, the Winter Olympics and the Olympics in general is just an event where people can rally behind. We kind of, like you said, forget the things that are going on around us and just wait for those good stories.
Yeah. I'm so excited. I have so much fun with the Olympics, just like the pageantry of it, both
Hmm.
summer and winter. And what I'm most excited too for as well, in addition to hockey and all the other events, but there is a new discipline that's been added to the Winter Olympics, the first time I think in like 25 or 30 years, and it's ski mountaineering. And this sounds like just a hellish sporting event where you got to hike up the mountain, like a sprint up the mountain, and then like quickly change and ski down. And it's supposed to be a real like spectator friendly event.
Correct. I saw something, they put their skis on the back of their
Yep.
backpack and they run and seems very quasi. Is this NATO authorized? I don't know if, Geneva conventions are good with this sport, but yeah, it definitely, seems very, very difficult, number one. And I think I saw where they're doing it, where they have co-ed, where the males and the females have to do the same amount, etc.
Yeah. Yep, there's going to be a co-ed like sprint event, and then I can't remember if this is new or not. I actually didn't watch the Winter Olympics in 2022. I was actually at Fort Benning, Georgia, for my
Mm.
commissioning course, so did not watch the Winter Olympics last time. But curling, an event that you mentioned, is
Mm.
is a co-ed curling event too, which I really like.
You know, if anybody's seen curling too, and I don't mean any disparaging towards the better half of our audience, but I feel like they should have a slight advantage in the technique of curling. But you bring up a new I guess twist in the Winter Olympics. It reminds me of a new sport I found out about tonight. Ferret legging. Have you ever heard of ferret legging, Dan?
What? This is something straight out of the Mad Hatter's Mad Hat. Ferret
Yes,
legging,
ferret legging.
like
This
a
is
like a like a leg, like my left leg.
correct.
Oh
This
boy.
is done in the UK.
Okay.
Typically, what happens is we have two ferrets, and you are wearing jeans, and you put a ferret in your lower half of your pants, and you put a ferret in the top half of your pants, and then you stay on a line, and the person that stays on the line the longest, as the ferrets do go about your body. By the way, no underwear, that person is considered the ferret legging champion.
So it's a face
So
off.
it's a face off, much like the relay and downhill
Yeah.
and the skiing and all those things. So ferret legging was a new introduction to me that seems like a pretty good sport as well.
So I know that you're like a new novice to ferret
Mm.
legging as far as fandom. My question is, and I would like this to be the case because I think it's very ferret dependent, right? If that
Mhm.
ferret, for whatever reason, is more active, or I don't even
Correct.
know, ferret fur. I would hope that you would like supply the other person. It would be your ferret that you would give to the other person. That makes
You
sense,
know, yes, that's a good point. Do you go in? Do you train your ferret to attack your
right?
partner? I don't know that. That would be like, do I sharpen my ferret's teeth?
Right,
Um,
right.
or or is this much like bull riding where you just draw the ferret
Mhm.
like, fuzzy number one ferret, like, and then
Oh, that'd be
like,
so funny, like,
and
on
it,
the ferret legging circuit, if there was known like, you didn't wanna draw that like, they like, bull
yes,
riding, so no one wants,
they
like,
yeah,
Bevo
you
or
have
whatever.
they have ferret standings. You have got Frosty the ferret. He's number one ranked in the world.
Frosty's the number one. He makes his
Yeah,
person jump in
he,
less than
in
2
3 seconds.
seconds. Frost.
That's that's and you see him come out. He's got a crown on his head, and then
Yeah,
it's
that's probably
ferret
one
legging is
cocky ferret.
absolutely
Ferret legging, oh, never heard about that.
yeah.
I'm not even gonna get into, what the, ethical and moral and legal implications of that are. I'm sure they do it PETA friendly.
Peter
I'm
friendly. That's
sure. I'm
correct.
sure. Oh my goodness.
Ferret legging.
Ferret legging.
That's
Well,
gold,
I don't know if
silver,
this
and
analogy even
bronze.
works, but like speaking of ferret legging, how about the NFL Hall of Fame, Mad Hatter? That was all
Yeah,
the talking heads could talk about this past week was the Hall of Fame committee vote.
yeah. Dan, I'm going to give you three names: Don Shula, Chuck Noll, and Tom Landry.
Yes, sir.
Um, Pretty well known. All three first ballot Hall of Fame coaches.
Yes.
You know what correlation they have with Mr. Bill Belichick, who was not selected first time Hall of Famer?
Chuck Noll, Don Shula. Who was the third one?
Tom Landry.
Tom Landry. I believe it's multiple Super Bowl winners.
if you add Chuck Noll, Tom Landry, Don Shula, add all their Super Bowl wins together, they equal Bill Belichick.
As a head coach or
It ta-
total?
as a
As a head
total.
coach.
Yeah, as a head coach. It
Yeah.
takes all three of them gentlemen to get to Mr. Bill Belichick.
Yep.
It's do we equate it to Deflategate, Spygate, Tom Brady being your quarterback? What I don't know.
And I've heard so many different accounts of what happened, and the initial news that came out, the real like sexy news. I think it was um I'm blanking on the ESPN writer's name. He's a noted Patriot hater. I want to say like Shea Willingham, something like that.
Mhm.
Um, he immediately came out with the whole thing about like Bill Polian campaigning against Bill Belichick and saying, "Oh, he can wait a year," and the talk about Spygate, Deflategate. Um, and then it came out that it was actually largely just the voting procedure itself, and it's the contributors of the game. And I don't know when this changed for the committee,
Mhm.
but your contributors, it includes your owners, your coaches, but also some of your veteran players that were not voted in the process, semifinalists, finalists during their window. So
Right.
they might be, I don't know if it's like a one and done type of thing. So what some writers have come out and said that are committee voters, that they figured that everyone else was going to vote for Bill Belichick, first ballot Hall of Famer. So they instead used their votes to try and get these guys through. And then we don't know because it's all anonymous, which is, I mean, I think total bull
Yeah,
crap
that's cool.
for
That's
both the
BS. Yeah.
NFL. I believe MLB Hall of Fame now is no longer anonymous, the Baseball Writers Association, but it was most likely you needed 40 votes, 40 of 50 to get in, and most likely he was around like 39, 38. So that story kind of checks out. But regardless, it's frustrating because, like you said, he
Mhm.
has the same number of Super Bowls as those three legends combined.
Come on.
On the flip side, though, when you're an asshole, kind of your entire career,
Eh, Yeah, I just wonder how much, being in the news now, not being able to get a head coaching job in the NFL after he left, some of those issues as how he's perceived it has contributed to this. But to me, at the end of the day, if I'm one of those voting members, does that not cheapen kind of the process? If this man is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, who is?
right?
I mean, take away Tom Brady and all those things. Like, to me, it was just a colossal mistake. And then I think now a lot of the gnashing of teeth you see is just for people to cover themselves.
Hmm.
They probably saw it as a way to get back at him for whatever reason. And now that they're getting called to the carpet, it's every man for himself. And oh, he can get in next year, no big deal. Like these people here on this side, we were afraid they wouldn't be able to come back up for another vote. They're making all the excuses instead of doing what they should have done and putting him in as a first time or first ballot Hall of Famer.
I think you're spot on. I think it absolutely does. It takes away credibility from the
Mhm.
Hall of Fame selection committee. It does cheapen first ballot Hall of Fame, absolutely. And yeah, everyone's just trying to, save their own. I'm sure there was some nefarious actors, and a lot of them are writers. And I don't think it's a coincidence, how curt and rude Bill Belichick was to the media
Right.
his entire career. That this is them kind of needling him back. But I think it just speaks again to the larger problem of the Hall of Fame voting procedure, and I think there has to be total reform there. And I hope that the Hall of Fame does that. And while I'm not a huge fan of the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, I do like though how they have their eras committees. And if that is the case, that what that one writer from Indianapolis said about his vote, how he voted for these senior veterans because they were probably going to get left off the ballot and wouldn't have another chance. Well, with the eras committee, their era would come up, every however many
Right.
years it is, 4 or 5 years. So, even if they didn't get in this year, 5 years later. And if you want to be voted in, like disconnected, reconnected. Oh, we had a little bit technical difficulty. You got me, Mr. Lewis?
Let's see. I'm seeing.
I got you.
Okay. You do have me.
Yep.
Okay. I think we're back.
I think we're back.
All right. The ghost of Bill Belichick, makes his appearance.
Yeah, I heard us talking about him. Actually, I'm sure his youthful young girlfriend put a spell on us. she heard
Are,
she
are
heard
they
us
still a
talking
thing,
ill
by
of
the
her
way?
boyfriend.
Are they? They're still a thing.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
The floor is
Interesting.
yours if you'd like to
I
discuss.
mean, no. I mean, I've been married. This June will be 30 glorious years.
Congratulations, that's awesome.
Yeah, it'd be 30 glorious years. And this man, he's in his 70s, correct?
Yeah, I believe he's like 70. I think he might be even late 70s. He might be like 75, 76.
And Jordan's 20.
24. He was 49 years old when she was born. So what's that? Maybe he's
So
73.
yeah. So basically, you're two younger than I am right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, baffling. But anyway, like just so many things I can think about that would cause me concern on many different levels. Energy being number one, but regardless, like yeah. So, at the end of the day, I think it does the process on both. You take the most recent thing, like with Pete Rose.
Yeah.
That there's the shining example. And then what does it look like for Barry Bonds and those guys coming down here pretty soon? There's a lot of things when you look at the Hall of Fames of these sports that probably need. And I never understood completely, unless you just preface it with this is a writers Hall of Fame instead
Hmm.
of the NFL Hall of Fame.
Right.
Why the writers on any sport have, that much say, considering many of them, you know, never played the sport or anything like that. So it's pretty interesting how they go about that.
Right. Yeah. The Baseball Writers Association, there's none of them played the game. I'm fairly
Right.
confident because, and usually it's the case, they couldn't even play on their like high school team, so they wrote about it.
Hmm.
And that's how they became these journalists with
Right.
these agenda and biases.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree completely. And the Baseball Hall of Fame with all the steroid guys, I don't think they're getting in. Like I was looking at the votes from the most recent class with I know Carlos Beltran, he got in.
Right.
Andrew
Andrew
Jones,
Jones.
yeah,
Right.
Braves great. It was great to
Hmm.
see him get in. And I think what hurt him in his candidacy was how his career really tailed off
Yeah.
towards the end. um and then Beltran, maybe, I don't know if he was a first ballot Hall of Famer or not, but definitely the sign stealing. That was something that was a stain on his record, and potentially similar to a Bill Belichick, where a stain of Spygate, Deflategate, and we're gonna give him the honor of being a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Right. As you know, and anybody that follows sports, there's never been a lack of someone trying to gain an upper hand, whether it be, as far as you're looking ethically correct, that it's always weighed in that way. But at the end of the day, people are looking, do you do the same thing if there's a runner on second base and he steals a catcher sign, he relays it to the batter? Like, is that, you know what I'm saying? But I'm
Hmm.
not. I do understand when you're actually sending spies into video practices that may take it to a larger level. But I think anytime you've had sports or anytime you've had any type of thing, my assumption is I had people, spot checking my yard sales to see what I was doing to then replicate that in a way, or try to sabotage, maybe even try to lower my prices. I know for a fact we would have people that would undercut me on some prices, and then next week they completed their own yard sales at a higher price. So those ways of trying to get better have existed.
Yeah, and I know we kind of gone sideways a little bit looking at the MLB Hall of Fame, but I couldn't help myself, and I just quickly looked up Carlos Beltran's 2017 season statistics, and the sign stealing, it didn't help him. He batted
What he
231,
bat? Yeah.
231, 14 home runs, 51 RBI, and a .666 on base plus slugging, and that was in 129 games.
Yeah, so played basically what, 80% of the games, and then barely hit above the Mendoza line, and then
Right. And this
so
was before 2017 was before the whole like the launch angle crap and all like where
mm,
strikeouts were way up. We weren't quite there yet. I know we were getting
right,
into that, but
getting
2017 was
close.
still you still had 300 plus hitters in 2017.
Right, right.
So
The,
sign stealing
I
didn't
was
help
I was
Carlos Beltran.
But even Andrew Jones, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I can remember him in the Yankees, his first playoffs when he just went ballistic those first couple games. And then he's always a great athlete. Reminded me much like Acuna to a certain extent
Hmm.
as far as his just raw ability. But even with Andrew Jones, I never felt like he reached his full potential. To be quite honest with you. Um, but yeah, it's the maybe it's to they get to a certain extent where we got to put somebody in, so just to keep it relevant.
Yeah, and he was never implicated with steroids, and he was
Mm,
like right in there in that era. And I mean, I didn't really follow National League that closely, and I mean, I do feel like he made All Star teams,
mhm.
but he was overshadowed probably by other National League outfielders, namely, like I think like the same era, like your Barry Bonds, Ken
Right.
Griffey Jr. Um, even Bobby Abreu on the Phillies. I'm trying to think who else were the big name National League outfielders back then. But he put together a great career, and I know he was a fan favorite with Atlanta, and maybe too like he kind of came after the big three era in Atlanta. So
Right.
they weren't really competing for World Series, but
And
he
I'm doing the quick, like, I mean, I'm looking at his total stats. Um, Quick, and you may have looked at, if you haven't looked this up. Would
I'll
you
pull it up.
say true or false? He had over 2,000 hits.
True.
False.
Really?
1933. Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like it used to be the cutoff was 2,000 hits for a hitter. Depending on what position. Um, not to say he's a career 250 hitter, so not world beater as far as that. 434 home runs. Um, so obviously a great illustrious career, but I just wonder if you looked at his stats from some of the previous eras, how he stacks up.
He's
And
only
I'm a big Jones fan, by the
254
way.
hitter.
Yeah,
Dang.
yeah,
I'm sure that doesn't stack up very well with other Hall of Fame outfielders, but I have to imagine he just benefited from a lot of his contemporaries taking themselves out of the
off the
mix
right.
by juicing.
hmm Yep.
Wow.
He only had one season hitting over 300.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was a hell of an outfielder. I do
Oh
remember he
yeah,
was a
great
great
glove.
glove, great arm.
He was
He
the
was a
first
great
player I remember
player.
from, like, was he from Curacao?
I
I
think
think is
that's
where he's
right.
from. Yeah.
The Dutch Antilles. I think that's right. Let's see. Yeah, Williamstead, Curacao. You're right on it.
Yeah.
Now, for
Yeah.
bonus points, Mad Hatter, do you know his high school?
Mhm. No, I do
St.
not.
Paulus TC School. I don't know why you would know that.
That seems like something that in early Calipari years as a Kentucky fan that we had some of our players graduate from with transcripts that just happened to show up on the fax machines.
I just thought of TC when I saw that TC Williams from one of my favorite movies, Remember the Titans.
Absolutely. That is one of the more um, obviously highly decorated movie, but still to this, it has so much relevance in a lot of things in
Yeah,
life. Yeah, great movie.
absolutely. So moving on from Bill
Mm.
Belichick's Hall of Fame candidacy to Super Bowl 60. I didn't even realize this was the 60th anniversary of the Super Bowl. This is a pretty big one. I don't the logos now are so bad. I don't know your thoughts on the logos.
So yes, I need to discuss the logos.
Okay, perfect.
If I was to say Super Bowl LX, first of all, when I saw that, what does that? And mind you, um, and I was correctly, told this by my wife that I have a tattoo with our anniversary in Roman numerals. But
Nice.
I actually had to look up what LX meant, and so my question is, why not just say Super Bowl 60?
I think they did that for 50 because they didn't like how just the L would have looked, which I agree with. So they had it
Right.
was Super Bowl 50. It wasn't the Roman numeral like official branding and trademark.
Mm.
Um yeah. Yeah, Super Bowl 60. I think that would have been
Eh,
fine.
So, it's just, you got to figure out, I get what the X means, what 10, and
Yep.
that looks pretty cool, Super Bowl X, with the 10, but then you have all the I's, and to me, it just gets too much. Just Super Bowl 61 next year, Super
That's
Bowl
right.
62.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because then it's gonna look like, yeah, we're gonna get to when it's 68, it will be LXV and then three eyes. It's gonna look pretty nuts.
yeah, and if I'm the intern in the graphics department, I'm like, what are we doing here? You know, um, for example, our halftime entertainment this year is Bad Bunny. Does
That's
Bad
right.
Bunny know what LX is? Who's caring about that?
Well, maybe, with your guest host spots, we'll really go viral and the podcast will explode and we can get Bad Bunny as a guest. And that'll be the first question we ask them is what is LX in Roman numeral conversion?
And by the way, who do you know a Bad Bunny song?
No, I don't. I know him. The only one of the places I know Bad Bunny best from is you ever see the movie Bullet Train with Brad Pitt? I love that movie. Came out fairly recently.
Is that where he's like a spy and they get kind of have a fighting scene?
Yeah,
Is it? I don't want to say Chris Rock's. It's no, Chris Rock's not in that. There's some other big heavy hitters in that movie, if I
there's some
remember
other big heavy
correctly.
hitters in that. Yeah, he's on like a Japanese bullet train. He's like a
Yeah,
hitman assassin, and Bad
correct.
Bunny is one of the other assassins that he's going up against. He's a Mexican assassin,
Mm,
but Bad Bunny is from Puerto Rico. I do know that.
okay, it's. And then what night, with your stupor with your friends, do you come up as a Hispanic male? I'm Bad Bunny. Like, like what's your mental state for Bad Bunny?
I don't know, but he's very famous and it's working for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna be a rich bunny, I would say
I think he
after
already is a
this.
very rich bunny.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was, one of the things when I look at Super Bowls, the game of its in of itself is one thing,
Mhm.
but I just wonder, do we glorify the other things, whether it be the commercials,
Sure.
the halftime? Is that more scrutinized than even the football game?
I think in this day and age, it is absolutely like who's hosting, how much like each minute of ad space is going
Mm.
for and what the big Super Bowl commercials are. Like I feel like some of these the budgets for some of these commercials, like you could make a full length feature film. And then like especially now with the legalization of sports betting, all the
Hmm.
prop bets that are
Right.
available and all of the machine that is regulated, legalized gambling.
Yeah. Well, there's a in New York Giants football lore and Kentucky football lore, there is a, don't know how valid it is. We'd have to look it up, but Jared Lorenzen, who was a backup to
Rest in peace.
Eli, yeah, R.I.P. Hefty Lefty, uh, Pillsbury Throw Boy, all the a matter of fact, we got a Jared Lorenzen jersey up in the closet there. But supposedly he looked at the color of the Gatorade in the cooler and sent some of his friends prior to the game. So if he had to do a Gatorade bath, they had the color of the Gatorade properly chosen.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. But what I was getting to too at the start of this was just like, yeah, I think the logos are so like bland now. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
it's always been the Roman numerals, but even like the color scheme, I know it's got something to do with uh it's being played in Levi in San Francisco, but I miss like the old like the what I remember. So the first Patriots Super Bowl that was down in New Orleans, and it was kind of like the New Orleans like the yellow, purple,
Right.
green, and the French fleur de lis theme. And then even when they won their first one against the greatest show on turf in 2002, it was a great outline of the United States with the American flag. Like the logos, just they were iconic. And now
Hmm.
it's just they're so boring and bland.
Yeah, I think, you when you look at, and I think some of those you can tie to the games too. Some of
Hmm.
those iconic games kind of help either hurt or prop those
Hmm.
graphics up. But just it would be interesting though to do like a 30 for 30 on who comes up with those graphics.
Oh,
Like,
I'd
is
watch
it a
that.
yeah, a 19-year-old intern that's, hey, listen, we got too much stuff to do. Just shoot as a, I mean, because you've seen what if you're just doing a range in the army, what those quick graphics have to look like. What does the guy have to brief for the Super Bowl graphics? Like, what does that brief look like? You know,
That'd be a great 30 for 30. Did you ever see I
yeah.
think it was a 30 for 30 short. I don't think it got the full treatment. But like the husband and wife couple from Cape Cod that does the MLB scheduling.
No, I
I'm gonna
did
send
not.
that to you. As a
Okay.
baseball fan, it's you think like in the age of like computers and like algorithms and AI. No, it's a husband and wife with
S-
pencil to paper for every team.
So sharpening a pencil and just, my goodness. How many phone calls do they field from the traveling people and being like, we can't, our team can't, we got concerts going on this week. Like,
That's it,
just the
yeah.
operation. I couldn't even imagine trying to
I
put that
I would
together.
think my best guess, and this I don't think this was covered in the documentary, but I would imagine that a lot of these places, especially baseball stadiums, well, I guess it depends if they're like the primary tenant. You get the schedule first, and then you plan the concerts.
Mm, okay. So that takes precedence, I guess. I
Yeah.
got you.
And we
Yeah.
got a lot of chatter in the
All
chat.
right. Yeah,
I,
let's
I
hear it.
don't know how Braxton is doing operations with how much he's chatting.
Mm.
I guess that table qualification must have gone very well or very badly. But it's funny that we're talking about Bad Bunny and Woody Lou Sports and you. Did you know that we're going head to head right now with the Grammys? I did not know that.
Well, I mean, it seems like a viable competitor that we have no problem taking care of.
And well, Rich Bunny, Bad Bunny, he just won a Grammy about 3 minutes ago.
And once again, if you gave me $1 million and said name one lyric that this young man has, and I know there's a lot of even political upheaval,
Hmm.
about, and I think our president stated he's not going due because he's mad at Bad Bunny. It is what maybe we'll go there and Bad Bunny, turns into the Easter Bunny. I don't know,
Easter Bunny.
um.
That would actually be so funny if at Super Bowl 60 halftime show, he goes for a whole new like reinvention as like, gospel Christian rock, the Easter Bunny.
So is Braxton and out in the field, their operations, are they walking out to the qualification line with Bad Bunny intro music? Is that's the that's the, that's the theme.
That would be great if that's what they're playing from the tower.
Yeah. 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 Clear on the
Shooters.
left. Shooters. Move your selector switch from safe to semi, and Bad Bunny comes on. Watch your leg.
So good. Oh my goodness. I'm dying. What has been, I guess, your most memorable or favorite halftime performer?
Yeah, I think Michael Jackson for me was probably the cream of the crop. I thought he did a really good job. Take away all the other things that are associated with him. I thought that was a really good halftime. Um, I- in recent memory, I think Prince. A
He
few,
was
he
really
he
good.
he had a great one too, and I'm probably going to be lean more towards that genre.
Yeah,
But I think I can't remember the year just because my memory is not great. But when they had and all those guys, a few was it Snoop and
that was really good. That was in LA.
yes, that was I remember them being on like it looked like a house or whatever. And they all had the different. That was a good one
That
too.
might have been
But
Rams Bengals. That might have been, was that played in
okay,
LA?
with Burrow, yeah.
Yeah, Rams Bengals. That's what Braxton's saying. Yeah, that was, yeah, 50, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre.
Yeah, that was a really good one. I like that one too. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, that was the one that I was at Fort Benning for. So
Okay.
I don't even remember if I saw that or not. My favorite one that just comes back, that one of my first memories was that first Patriots Super Bowl win against the Rams, and that was with, it was like Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, and
Mm.
Aerosmith. That was a super
Oh, that's a
fun,
good. That's a good
that was a
one.
really,
Yeah.
really good assembly. And then, of course, Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson. That was the
Y-
Patriots 2000. That was their second Super Bowl win against Jake Delhomme and the Carolina Panthers. I want to say that was 2003 season, 2004 Super Bowl. And that was probably
Okay.
the second boob I ever saw. The first one was Rose in Titanic. Paint me like your French ladies.
Not bad. Yeah. That was one that will probably go down in history just of,
The wardrobe
all
malfunction.
wardrobe of all wardrobe malfunctions. Absolutely. Yeah, but
Yeah.
Timberlake, he has the ability that setting's good for him in different ways. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good
There's been a lot of
performer.
good ones. And sometimes I'm just there for the fights of it was great, it was horrible. Um, and I think it just depends on some of it, where you are in life, based
Yeah.
off that. Yeah.
And Katy Perry was really good too, I thought, in her Super Bowl halftime performance. She was on that giant robotic, like tiger.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that one.
No,
I remember that
didn't do
one.
it for you.
It was no, and I don't know why I'm just not a big Katy Perry fan. Um, she's an odd duckling to me, but I don't remember liking that one very much. No. Question: Your
Yes.
quarterback. Any concern about shoulder injury?
Oh
How
yeah.
you feeling there?
This is good. Yeah, we should probably start talking about the game. We're just having a lot of fun
Yeah.
just talking Super Bowls and all the periphery. Yeah, so I know he was on the injury report. He didn't. I don't think he practiced on Friday. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm concerned. I mean, I think that the Patriots, their chances of winning are gonna lie with how Drake May plays.
Hmm.
And if he is able to play at the level that he was playing at for the overall majority of the season, and the Patriots limit turnovers and mistakes, then they will be victorious in this game against the Seahawks. But if he's not able to play, or if he's playing kind of like he has for most of these postseason games so far, putting the football on the ground,
Hmm.
not converting on third down. I don't. I don't. The Seahawks are, they're a very talented team.
Yeah, and defensively too, I think they're going to give him some
Mhm.
problems. And I think that's number one. I think my concern for the Patriots is defensively, but I do have to say there's probably, if you're looking at it currently, no better coach I think for that moment than Vrabel.
Yep.
And I know poor Braxton out there, listen to his Bad Bunny on one ear and Woody Lou in sports and you on the other. Um, I can't imagine where Titans fans are right now, just mentally. This to me for a Titans fan would be insufferable, to be quite honest with you.
They just
But
let him
I
walk.
think, yeah, what was it, 2014? They played Se-
Yep.
Seahawks Patriots. Is that correct?
2014 Super Bowl. Yes, that was
Yeah,
the Malcolm Butler game. Yep.
yeah. Russell Wilson, was it first and goal from the 2 or something like that?
Mhm.
Marshawn Lynch, all 6 foot
Yep. You
245
have
of him,
Martian
doesn't
Lynch in
touch
your
it.
backfield who hasn't been
Yeah.
stopped all night.
Correct. Who, by the way, had a stint on Bar Rescue, which you mentioned earlier. If you
That's
have
right. I
not
do.
seen
Actually,
that
I think I might have
episode,
watched that episode where he was one of the guys they sent in.
yeah, absolutely. So,
Yard
do we
Sale
have a
Rescue. I'm
repeat?
telling you, Yard Sale Rescue with Chris the Mad Hatter Lewis. If Woody Lou Sports and you, if we start another production arm, that'll be our first
Yeah,
show.
and another show that went by its wayside that I think I need to inundate you with is the we had in Eastern Kentucky called Tradio. I don't know if you've heard Tradio before.
No.
So Tradio is a usually running a couple hours from 9 to 11 on local radio. And you would have your Billies and Bills call in, for example. And you'd have, let's say you're running Tradio and you say, hey, welcome to Tradio. What do you have? And yeah, my name's Billy. I've got a 1984 Cordova. She's got 75,000 miles, good tires, air blows cold, boys. I'm looking to get $8,500. If you could give me a phone call at 8 and a 59 and the 498-1550, that's 859-498-1550 for that Cordova. Thank you.
Oh my
And
goodness,
so that's
it's
how.
like a real time like classified ads.
Yes, this was the Facebook Messenger Live as far
Trade.
as marketplace.
It's,
Tradio,
it's,
I think
it's awesome.
that's a classic too that we could probably do
Oh,
another thing
I'm gonna
on.
YouTube this.
Yeah, do
That's so
Tradio.
funny.
You'll hear some things. You'd sell anything from chickens to use underwear. There's no telling what you could what
Used underwear.
yeah, to what you could get on Tradio.
Radio.
Um,
It's still on.
yeah. I don't think it's still on. I think that, like I said, the invention of Facebook Marketplace has really been downtrodden to the Eastern
Oh,
Kentucky
man,
job market.
I
Tradio was
bet
great.
I bet Tradio had some just gold
Oh,
routine
listen,
callers, like
I mean,
personalities that would call in.
yeah, like you'd have Bubba from the holler selling his tools from the tool shed. I've got 3/16 pipe wrench in good condition, no rust. Just used very lightly used. I'm going to get rid of $5 for that pipe wrench, boys. If you could give me a call and then number ahead. That's Tradio. And listen, good stuff happened there at Tradio.
I
Let me tell
love
you.
that.
Yeah,
That's
Tradio.
like at first I thought when you were talking about the car, I thought you were gonna go like a car talk route. But I think this is even
No.
better. Just give me a
No,
call.
there was any, like I said, it ran the gamut. Tools, cars,
You said like
chickens,
yeah, livestock.
livestock, bikes, miscellaneous items, water hoses. Like there's no telling of
Anyone ever try to like sell a kid off?
I, probably that was the first Craigslist gone bad.
Yeah,
Probably, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Tradio. I
Tradio, but
can't
yeah,
wait.
yeah,
I'm gonna
I've
listen
kind
to
of got
this
off,
and give you my feedback next show.
yeah, kind of got off topic here, but
No, I like that.
yeah,
That's what Woody Loves Sports and You is. We get you let us cook.
yeah,
But we are coming up on the hour mark, so
yeah.
let's make our picks for the Super
Okay,
Bowl. Do you do squares? Do you play the Super Bowl squares?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. So basically, you put into a pot, and you pay
Hmm.
like $20 a square.
Okay.
And the squares you have the horizontal and vertical, 0 to 9, and
Hmm.
then basically you can buy 4 squares. So that's going to be $80, and then your initials you randomly get put into a square. And if the top will be the home, and then the vertical will be the away. And if those numbers, if they match what the last digit is of the home and away score, you
Okay.
win for that quarter. And there's payouts for each quarter, then there's
Mm,
payouts for the half, and then final. So
yeah.
those are, yeah, Super Bowl
No,
squares.
no, can't say I've ever done that. That seems like, especially if you got a large group of buddies, that's pretty good. Keeps you interested through the whole game. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's fun. Usually get a few squares, and if you're at a Super Bowl party with people that are playing squares, like you'll pay out right then and there.
Well, are we doing a Woody Lou Sports and You Square? I mean, is this something that we need to get going?
Uh, what's how many squares is that? I can't do math right now. But yeah, we got to get more listeners to fill out all the squares. I guess we could buy
Okay.
multiple
It'd be a,
squares.
ours would be ours would be a small square.
Or we just make it, instead of $20, $2 a
Yeah.
square. So we can buy up all
Speaks.
the.
Yeah. Speaking of squares, we may sell T squares on Tradio. You know what I'm saying? You get a box of T squares.
All right.
Yeah.
So what is your winner and final
Okay.
score? Actually, I don't even. Let me see. What's the spread of the Super
I
Bowl
think
right
is it
now?
4.5? 4.5, 5?
Seahawks.
Yeah.
Let's see. DraftKings. What does DraftKings have it as? Super Bowl odds. Well, that's not what I was looking for. Super Bowl spread. Yeah, 4.5 is
Mm,
what the line's at right now. Seahawks. I think that's
yeah.
fair.
No, yeah, I think that's fair. Um, so to me first, I guess I'm going. I think Seahawks will win. I think it's going to be a low scoring game considering. I'm looking at 21-17 Seahawks.
Okay. 21-17. So they're not going to cover the spread. Pat's cover.
Correct.
I'm going to go. I think Drake May. The shoulder's going to be fine. He's not going to be playing in the elements like he has been
Mm,
the last 2 games. It's going to be Patriots 27, Seahawks 23. Pats
okay.
win. Get their 7th Super
Yes.
Bowl, and they will be the NFL team with the most Super Bowl victories. They're going to break that tie with the Steelers.
And does that start Drake May, Tom Brady comparisons if for the win?
I think it has to. I think Drake May is the same age. He's either the same age or younger than when Brady won his first one in 2002 against the Rams. And
Yeah.
arguably, like Brady, he wasn't winning. I mean, he was a Super Bowl MVP. He played fantastic, but it was the defense and the strength of the defense that was what the Patriots. And I guess that's kind of the case here as well. The Pats have a great defense, but they're going to need Drake May to play at the
Yeah.
MVP caliber for them to beat the Seahawks.
Yeah. Last question I got for you on Super
Yes.
Bowl because I did a quick look before we got on air.
Hmm.
Take military leave out of it to get in the game. To get in the game, according to StubHub, cheapest ticket I could find currently, $4,900. Would you pay it?
That's pretty good. 4,900. I was seeing it as high as like 8,000 in the door.
Yeah. I saw
Um,
StubHub 4,900. Top. It was toppish row. I didn't look at the section.
so I wouldn't pay that for a Super Bowl. I may have paid that to get into the Notre Dame national championship against Ohio State, and I would
Mm,
absolutely pay that for football national championship with the Irish in the
yeah.
game.
Yeah, I would pay that for a Kentucky national championship. Absolutely. Yeah, so I get that. Okay, just just wanted to see.
Yeah, that's a good question. Well,
Yeah,
Mad Hatter, we are just over the hour mark. It's been an absolute pleasure and a privilege. And I mean, I
yeah,
think this might be the same as Drake May's decade of dominance. Again, it's Woody Lou, sports and you. I mean, Lou's are interchangeable. Woody's one of a
yeah.
kind.
Well, listen. At the end of the day, I'm just glad I can keep his seat warm till he gets back. I know he's out there doing God's work, with the
He
soldiers.
is. He is.
Can't wait till he gets back and gets healed up and is able to do his thing here. You and him have a very dynamic situation that I can't replicate, but I'm just happy to keep it warm till he gets here.
That's great. That's great. And some good chatter from
Mm.
him. Is he apparently maybe return next Monday night, and
Okay.
he would pay 5,000 for Kentucky's SEC championship in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would probably run up my credit limit for a SEC championship parlay and then that's the like
Basketball or
that's a whole
football? Basketball or football?
but football,
Football.
basketball, I'm not. Yeah, and then that's the question: do you burn it? Like that's a whole segment we can't get into. We don't have time, but
Oh,
like
we'll do it next
for
show.
us, could yeah, for us Kentucky fans, do you burn the money SEC championship because you're probably going to be in the playoffs, and then what round of the playoffs do you play? Like that's all kinds of scenarios going down there.
Yeah. And then this is actually a great chat from Anthony Tony from Weymouth. He knows Tradio. He is
Oh.
from Weymouth, Massachusetts, and he's a huge Howard Stern listener. I don't know if you listen to
Mhm.
Stern, but he
No.
said some of Stern's best prank calls were to Tradio. So I'm gonna look
So
up Tradio and then Howard Stern prank calls.
my
That's my
guess
homework.
is my guess is you could do some cuts off Tradio that would be great for intro, like some good drops. Absolutely.
All right. That's my homework. I'm gonna send you your homework, which is gonna be that 30 for 30 short on the schedule makers, the husband
Yeah.
and wife. I'm a baseball diehard, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. Can't
Um,
wait to see that.
yeah, so we got our homework assignments, Mad Hatter, and we'll see if Braxton if he makes his return, we might have to put it to a vote of which Lou will reign supreme.
I definitely will take a back seat. It's a lot easier watching than working.
Well, I appreciate you
All right.
co-hosting with me tonight. And to all of our award-winning listeners, I hope you have a great week. And don't forget to subscribe, share, download, and let all your friends know about Woody Lou, Sports and You.